There seems to be a lot of hype behind designating the Mexican cartel, all cartel members, as a terror group. But in this video, I'm not trying to sway or change your opinion. I'm trying to give you a little bit of education and insight on what would happen if tomorrow we designate the cartel as a terror group, because it would have a lot of implications. Here's what happens. The host nation is the one that truly suffers. For example, you have restrictions on U.S. foreign assistance, a ban on defense exports and sales, certain controls over exports of dual-use items, and miscellaneous financial and other restrictions. And I know a lot of you are saying, well, who cares? We're the cartel, they're sending in drugs to the United States, they're taking out our own people with fentanyl. I understand that. I sympathize with the families who have had to deal with that. I sympathize with the families who've gone to Mexico and bad things have happened to U.S. citizens. But here's where things are a little different. You see, the United States has actually a terror organization list. If you go to the CIA website, you can check off every terror organization. And one thing that's pretty common is that the terror organization or deemed terror organizations, they're not neighbors with the United States. They're like in foreign nations. North Africa, a lot of them are in the Middle East and Indo-Pacific region, stuff like that. So the United States, again, we have always had the blessing of sort of being an island nation away from everyone. We've never really had to deal with Canada. They're our good friends, but we've had border issues with Mexico. So I say this, once you flip the switch and you designate the cartel as a terrorist organization, we're instantly now in a war conflict with these guys right on the border. That puts everyone at risk. The other issue is the Mexican people will suffer, and the Mexican government, that's why they've been super adamant about not allowing this to happen, because we have all these restrictions. That means the United States can do whatever it takes to sort of push Mexico to be a little more harsh on the cartel. And Mexico, they are trying to deal with the cartel. That's also something that's a little different. I want to use Al-Qaeda as an example. Al-Qaeda, that when they were operating out of Afghanistan and other countries in North Africa, they essentially could do whatever they want. They just had the hope that a drone was not watching them and they might get taken out, especially nowadays. But they were operating in nations where their government, they knew they were around, but they just didn't have the means to take them out. They didn't want to mess with them. So they were able to do whatever they wanted. So the United States could go to those nations and go mess with them and take them out if need be. Now, the cartel operating in Mexico, different story, because the Mexican government, again, is trying to take them out or trying to handle the situation as best as they can. And I know a lot of you are saying, well, come on, let's just be honest, the cartel and the Mexican government, they're all in on everything, but there are Mexican units who are designated to take out cartel members. Once you designate them as terrorists, now you put the Mexican government in a situation of, dude, escalation of force, what are you doing here? The other issue is, once you designate them as terrorists, are all of the associates, like the drug runners and everybody else who works with the cartel, what are they? Are they just an associate? Are you association by terrorism? What are we doing here? We have a list of classifications that can be extremely problematic for the people of the United States and the people of Mexico. I do not think designating the cartel as a terrorist group is a good situation. From the U.S. perspective, though, when you do designate somebody as a terror group, you open the floodgates, you open the door to collaboration on all U.S. government entities to work together to take out an organization. Prime example, when you look at the Osama raid in Pakistan, collaboration between, like SEAL Team 6, CIA, stuff like that, or DOD. You have everybody coming together using all assets. It's not confined to just Border Patrol hoping that they can stop the cartel at the border. Now Border Control will have more assets to help them if they know the cartel is there. But if you designate the cartel as a terrorist group, Border Patrol is going to need more assets than just them. They're going to need the DOD, they're going to need everyone, because you've now just created a border war and border dispute. That is my argumentation as to why I don't think we should designate the cartel as a terror group. Again, we hurt the Mexican people, we hurt the Mexican government, and Mexico already said, we are not allowing you guys to come into Mexico. You're not operating in here. You're not going to put restrictions on us. You're not going to do any of that. That's why I am not in favor of this. I do understand the cartel is a major issue for the United States. I do understand what they're trying to do, push drugs into the United States because we are very profitable to them. And I don't think the cartel wants to deal with the fact that they are a terror group, but they are going to do what it takes. They will reinvest that money if they have to in assets and weapons, and they're going to start really acting like a terror group if you push them to the limit.